So service graph is a method through which your L4 and L7 functions or devices can be integrated to the ACI. I mean, this is just like how you configure your firewall or a load balancer to your normal data center where your external traffic hits to your firewalls or a load balancer, and they can send your traffic from the external zone to the internal zone. So there are lots of advantages of the service graph. It redirects or it creates a path from your external domain to your internal domain via L4 and L7 devices, removing all the complexities. Whatever VLANs that are used for service graph insertion, and that VLAN will be used for your traffic flow from your external device to the internal device via L4 and L7. All those VLANs allocation will be done automatically. It whatever the policies which you will be configuring via service graph, those policy will be attached to the NIC of the workload automatically. It collects the data statistics from the L4, L7 devices, and as soon as EPG is discovered, service graph updates the ACL and pool automatically. So what is a service graph? A service graph is a set of policies or a set of access list, right? So as soon as EPG is discovered, these are these all service graph policies, they form a ACL or a policies, and they got automatically updated. Now, so how it works? So in a similar scenario, like suppose you have let's suppose a firewall is there, right? Your external traffic hits, it is in some external VLAN, and then your traffic goes to the internal interface, which is in internal VLAN. So as there are external VLANs, and likewise there are internal VLANs. So what we do, we create a bridge domain. So external bridge domain and an internal bridge domain. In the external bridge domain, all your traffic will hit. Then firewall will use the policies and all whatever configure policies or a load balancer, whatever policies have you have configured, and they will redirect it to the internal bridge domain where your EPC resides, and it will send the traffic. So likewise, suppose there is a outside router will hits a bridge domain, which will be the external interface of the router. So external interface of the router will be in the external bridge domain. Then the internal interface will be in the internal bridge domain. Once your traffic reaches to the firewall, it will send the traffic to the internal bridge domain. Then if there is a load balancer configured, the traffic will hit to the load balancer, and then from the load balancer, it will go to the bridge domain 3 where all your endpoint EPG resides. And these endpoints, if they want to communicate to each other, they have a contract to do that. So this is a very plain and simple service insertion. So this is a very uh, plain and simple insertion technique in the ACI. So it's just like that you have a load balancer and you have an external interface. You have the internal interface. External interface will be in the external bridge domain. Internal interface will be in the internal bridge domain. You will connect these two interfaces in the external bridge domain and internal bridge domain. In the internal bridge domain, you will have your all servers that will be in a particular EPG, and to talk to them, there is a contract allowed. So whenever you will hit to your virtual server, load balancer policies based on the pools and pools, whatever pools you have allocated to that virtual server, that will it your load balancer will send a traffic to your pool member of that pool, and then your traffic will be load balanced. Okay. Now, what are the modes of the service graph? So there are two types of modes: unmanaged mode and managed mode. So what do you mean by managed mode and unmanaged mode? In unmanaged mode, all the network related configuration of your load balancer or a firewall will be done via ACI, and all the policies and other stuff that has to be done on the load balancer and on a firewall that will be done by security or a load balancer admin. So all the configuration which is to be done on a specific device, that will be done on the specific device. But to connect those devices to the ACI, the network portion, that will be done by ACI only. So let's suppose if you want to connect a firewall, if you want to connect a load balancer to your leaf, so how you will connect to your leaf? There will be a IP address, there will be a bridge domain, there will be a EPG that has to be done on a ACI. But what the security policy you want to configure, how your load balancer is going to load balance your traffic, what will be the load balancer algorithm, whether SNAT will be done, whether auto NAT will be done, all these specific device configuration will be done on the devices. It will not be done by ACI, but it will be done by the network and security admin or a load balancer admin on your device. So in the unmanaged mode, the network admin will configure ports, VLANs to connect firewall or a load balancer. Firewall and a load balancer will configure their respected interface and VLAN. So whatever configuration that has to be done on that particular device, that admin will do it on their device. ACI has no access to load balancer or a uh, uh, or security firewall if you are using a unmanaged mode. And firewall and load balancer admin will configure their ACLs and other components which is required to send a policy from external interface to internal interface. Why this is required? I mean, unmanaged mode, why it is there? So see, in any company or in any operation team, there are two types of team. One is a network team and another is a security team. Security team, if security team doesn't allow that ACI should control your devices, then you have to go for unmanaged mode. That means for connectivity purpose, ACI will configure it, but for all the traffic policies, load balancer configuration, pools, SNAT, access list, everything, whatever security policies you have to configure on the firewall, that has to be done by security team by their own, and ACI has no role on it. The second option is managed mode. So in the managed mode, or we can say as a service policy mode, in this mode, or both the network portion of the fabric as well as the configuration related to L4 and L7 all are done by Epic. So that means your security team has allowed and and they have said that okay, all the network configuration to provide the reachability to the L4 and L7 devices, plus all the security policies, all the load balancer policies, blah, 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 whatever things you want to configure, it can be done via managed mode, right? But in real scenario, unmanaged mode are more popular. Why? Because, it is simple, it is easy, and it is very, comprehensive way to manage it. Because if you go in unmanaged managed mode, there is a lots of configuration, there is a complexity. So generally people in the data center or enterprise network, they prefer to have a managed mode. So here we will also see how the unmanaged mode. So here we will see how the unmanaged mode is done. So let's suppose you have this is a firewall logical connectivity, right? And we have an external client, virtual machine is there, which is having on an external IP, which is connected to the ACI fabric, and to the ACI fabric your F5 is connected. In the F5 there is an external interface which we say as external NIC that has external IP, and it has an internal interface which is in internal VLAN. And in the internal VLAN there are two servers through which you are sending a traffic, and your virtual server will be this IP address. So when a client will hit to this IP address, your firewall will load balance a traffic one time here and one time here via ACI fabric. So if you go, if you want, this is a logical topology, right? So if you want to have the physical topology, so let's say it will be just like this: spine, leaf, Here you have a two internal server. Let's say suppose I have I. Here you have a external user, and here you have a load balancer. Two interfaces are there. One will be internal interface and one will be in external interface. The external interface have a IP 20.20.20.2. The internal interface has a IP 10.10.10.2. Your external user have a IP address 20.20.20.20, and there is a VIP here which is having IP address 20.20.20.5. So once your external user will hit a traffic to this virtual server, your virtual server will use the load balancer algorithm, and from the internal server, I mean internal interface, it will send a traffic to the any one of the internal user. So this is your physical connectivity, and this is your logical connectivity. So that is why your external machine is connected to your leaf, so it is a ACI fabric. Your F5 has a interfaces, external and internal, that is also connected to the leaf. So that means your external connectivity is connected to the ACI fabric, and your internal connectivity is also on a ACI fabric, and your two internal clients are also connected to the ACI fabric. So how it happens? Because there is a one subnet 20, so it will be a part of external BD. This is under another internal VLAN, so it will be part of internal BD, right? So you have to configure a two bridge domain. One will be the external bridge domain and another will be internal bridge domain. On the two bridge domain, you will configure a gateway. Now, second thing, you have to configure a EPG, and in the EPG, you have to put these two server, right? So what you have to do, and to talk to each other, right? So there will be a internal EPG and there will be a external EPG for this, for your this host, external host. And the external host, when it will talk to internal host via load balancer, there will be a contract between them. So likewise, your external client is in under external bridge domain, right? In the external bridge domain, and which is in external EPG. Your all internal client, they are in the internal bridge domain, and they are in a internal EPG, right? So this is your external, this is your internal, and there is a contract to talk to each other, right? So what will happen? Your traffic will come on this EPG, then it will go in the in the load balancer, then it will go to this EPG, and it will load balancer traffic. So this is how your logical flow happens in the F5. So let's see how we have to configure it. So as I said, all the F5 related configuration will be done manually. Other than bridge domain, EPG, right, contract, filter, that has to be configured on a ACI.